I should be in bed right now. Just got back from the cinema quite late. Work in the morning, obviously. But there was some pretty exciting news that I really want to talk about right away. So there was the announcement for a new side story event in Arknights China. It's the typical thing, you know, side story, new operators, new skins, new modules, furniture, etc., which I'll get to in a moment. But the surprise reveal was a new type of banner, which I want to talk about first. So this banner is a little bit like a 6-star selector ticket that randomly gives you one 6-star operator that you do not own. So the first 6-star you pull on this banner is guaranteed to be someone you do not own, non-limited up to the release of Mountain. After the first 6-star, it then turns into a normal banner where you can just pull any of those 6 stars. If you already have every operator in the pool, then there is no benefit to you. This is quite interesting because A, it's a new type of banner and it's always good to see them try new things. And B, something like this might happen to limited operators. Once we get to too many limited operators, they'll probably do something similar to this, which would be a very good thing. As more and more limited operators get added to the game, they do need to find ways of making them more accessible, particularly the older ones, because after the release of a limited operator, it is way too painful to get any limited operators that you missed on release. Yeah, so this is actually really interesting. Now, whether you should save for this is not as straightforward as it might seem. Not just whether you should save for this, because you won't need to save much. You're only going to want to pull until the first 6-star. It's not really whether you want to save, it's whether you want to plan for this one. It's a bit difficult to determine whether you need it this far ahead in time, because this is not going to come to global for another 6 months. This is quite an interesting banner because it benefits those with better accounts. Well, it sort of depends, because if you have pulled quite a bit, but you keep getting broken by operators you don't want, then you'll have more operators you do want left out of your roster, which means you have an increased chance of getting someone you want from this banner. However, if you're like me, where you've had pretty good luck in targeting particular operators and then getting them, while I still need several more operators, there's a lot more operators I don't have that I don't want. The odds for me aren't that great. But on the other hand, if you're a fairly veteran player, or you're someone who spent a fair bit of money to catch up to veteran players, and you've pulled quite a bit, but there's still sort of that white whale that you haven't managed to get, and you've got, say, 2 or 3 6-stars that you're missing in total from the available pool. At that point, you're looking at pretty good odds. Yeah, so it's quite hard to tell if you should take this into account. The only people I would say should plan around this banner a little bit are those that have very few 6-stars missing. Anything more than, say, 5 6-stars missing, and you're looking at very low odds of getting something good. So it's one of those things where I think you should only really account for it about a month away from release. And obviously I will talk about this again when it's officially announced for Arknights Global. It's very interesting though. Even though for me at this point, I'm very unlikely to pull on it. For me, the most important thing about this banner is that it's something new, and it shows Hypergriff is trying new things, and hopefully the end goal is to get something new for limited operators, particularly legacy limited operators. I'm not too fussed about the difficulty in acquiring new limited operators. It's the legacy ones that really bother me. And hopefully this banner is a sign of things to come. In other announcements, before we get to the PV, there's another new year. It's a randomized selector pack where you have groups of 3 6-star operators on a ticket. You have a choice of 3 different tickets with 3 operators each. You buy the ticket and then you get one of the 3 operators at random, along with regular pulls on the side. Last year they were actually quite good. In this case, we've got Unectes, Kjera, and Mudrock grouped together. Ark, Cheto, and Serto grouped. Mizuki, Calcit, and Blemishan grouped. I wanted to highlight this because it is something to consider. You might want to factor this into your planning. Now, as for the PV, the promotional video for the new event, there's some interesting new things to talk about. This is a side story focused on Silver Ash's homeland, which was teased in the live stream that happened not that long ago. There are several new operators. The first one is Kjera, who is a drone caster in the same line as Click. She's a 5-star. She's the welfare of the event, so you'll get her for free, which I quite like because I love her design. Her E2 art is absolutely awesome. If you didn't tell me her rarity and you just showed me that art, I 100% would assume she was a 6-star. That is some quality art. The pronunciation, I should correct myself on the pronunciation. Pronunciation is Kjera. Kjera has got the cold/frost mechanic that you saw from things like those little exploding ice slugs, the frost caster mages, etc., where the first hit gives you that cold effect and then the second hit freezes you. That's the common theme across all operators for this event. However, one thing to keep in mind is that the player's version of this freeze effect is actually a bit stronger than the enemy's version. Cold effect slows attack speed, and the frozen effect, our one, also reduces resistance. With her second skill, she summons an extra drone. So with drone casters, the drones will lock onto a target and they'll just keep firing at that same target even when it goes out of range. Every attack from Kjera and her drones will all have a chance to inflict cold. Now, whether she'll be better than Click, I think in the end will really depend on how her actual numbers look. Their skills look very, very similar, and Click Stun is already very good. I think we're just going to have to wait and see for the numbers on whether she's any better, more specifically whether she's worth the investment as a 5-star. Actually, I want to do a separate video on the dilemma of putting resources into 5 stars. The other new operator was Aurora. So Aurora is in the line of Eunectes. If you're not aware of Eunectes, who operates quite differently from other defenders, Eunectes types, which are known as duelist defenders, they only gain SP while blocking. They also regenerate HP when their SP is below a certain amount. Then, once they activate their skills, that's when they become proper tanks with a significant amount of damage added on top, hence the duelist archetype. Her first skill is pretty basic. It just increases block, defense, and gives her CC resistance, halves the duration of CC. Her second skill increases the attack and attack speed, and as you would expect, based on theme of the operators for this event, she applies that cold effect on each attack, which obviously can freeze the enemies as well. Another interesting thing is it's an ammo skill. And then the third new operator, the 6-star, and one that many people are excited about because it's the first male supporter. He's a debuffer type in the line of Shamir, although instead of having the cursed doll like Shamir does, he has this AoE freeze mechanic. Could be really good. Again, it's going to come down to, now with him, we don't really know what his skills do yet. They'll probably announce it 1 hour after I post this video. His overall strength will really come down to his numbers. You know, if the cooldown on that skill is really long, then he just won't compete with someone like Angelina. I'm quite interested in him, and I absolutely love his art. In general, the art for this whole event, even from the key art to the operator arts, some really cool stuff. This guy's E2 art just looks awesome. What a pimp. And I love the frost heron in the background. So for other things announced in the event, obviously there are quite a few skins. One skin in particular that you should take note of is the Carnelian skin, because if you really like this skin, Carnelian is available for recruitment right now. You might want to pull her. Keep in mind that around the time of this event, she will have another standard banner appearance, though it will only be at a 25% rate of getting her, rather than the current 50%. There's the Cardboard Fairy Kafka skin, which I posted a separate video of, set to the greatest Christmas song of all time. There's also Leonhardt's skin, which I think is a bit of a weird one, and Beanstalk also has a skin. Then they've also reconfirmed the Who Is Real event rerun. Now, this will not have the limited banner rerunning with it. The one new addition is that Purgatory Lava will have her own skin as well. There's also a new Annihilation map, which I always like because I love the fat stack of rewards from those. A ton of operators are getting their Chinese voice options added. There's a bunch of new operator records, for their little mini stories. Several new modules. Now, there's a few of these that stand out to me that I want to pause on and highlight briefly. The first is Chen, because she's obviously one of the original 6 stars, very much fallen out of favor. I'm very curious to see what that module does to her. And the other one that really catches my eye is Bagpipe. Not because Bagpipe needs any help, quite the opposite actually. Bagpipe is already a top tier operator, so I do not know what they could possibly give her without absolutely making her even more busted. I suspect it'll be something that focuses on areas where people don't use her, like her first 2 skills. Yeah, so there's quite a lot coming in this event. They're adding lots of little things, a few big things, and particularly that new banner type. Very interesting to see. Even though this isn't coming to Arknights Global for another 6 months or so, I still wanted to make this video just to make people aware of what's coming up, particularly for those who like to plan ahead. Global's Clairvoyance S+++ tier ability is our greatest strength, and it's always good to know. I will talk about everything again and go into more detail when it's officially announced for Global way down the line. From this event, the things I personally most interested in, I am curious to see Silver Ash's involvement in the story, because I quite like him as a character. I am very much looking forward to getting Kjera, because I think her design is awesome, and I really do quite like the drone casters. I just hope her numbers are good to justify building her. I love the design of this new 6-star. I really hope they make him good to force me to pull him. The fact that he's a debuffer bodes well, because debuffers generally have been pretty damn strong. His ability to apply AoE freeze, think about Gnosis being combined with Aya. He freezes everyone, reduces the resistance, and then Aya uses her ultimate. And then he keeps refreezing them, and then she keeps melting them. Oh man, that's just heaven. That sounds so good. Alright, Nerl, do not take all of my pulls. Leave me some spare for this guy. Yes, there's quite a bit to look forward to. Drop a comment down below, letting me know what you're interested in. Does it look likely that this New Year's / our mid-year's banner will be a good one for you? Anyways, I've been rambling on too long. I need to edit the video, then upload it, then go to sleep. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.